you've made a tremendous impact at the HBCUs. I guess how difficult was the decision to leave what you started there?
Tremendous. Because it wasn't about the X's and O's or the wins and losses. It was about those kids. It was about looking at the faces of those kids, knowing that I'm being ready. God is getting ready to elevate me. I'm sorry. God is getting ready to elevate me. Usually a coach is terminated or elevated. Thank God I'm elevated. But still, the journey is not complete. Some of the things that we accomplished there about bringing understanding and notoriety to certain falsities or non-committal things that are done in Power Fives, maybe God is using me to be the catalyst, to make you think and to make you just fathom another way, to make us feel unthreatened when someone of the other ethnicity is approaching, to just make us feel good about today. Maybe God is really using me to open doors at this level. The thing that alarms me the most is just because I'm leaving Jackson, they think that I'm leaving African Americans. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I'm black. I can never leave who I am and what I am and how I am and how I go about being that. So it is still my task to look in that locker room and see 65 to 70% of African American men trying to help them get to the next level, as well as all the others. My calling is for young men, young women, and people of all walks of life, all social climates, and all ethnicities. That's my calling. My calling is not built on a location. It's built on a destination. Now that was good. You're supposed to clap for that. Darn it, that was good. You give me some of my good stuff. We just getting started. I already went in the bag, baby. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. I am your host, Jay Lex. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. It is much appreciated. You all know what I'm trying to do with this. I know I've been missing for a little bit here. Just been busy. The holidays are happening, and obviously Thanksgiving just happened. For those who celebrate Thanksgiving, not for the pilgrims, obviously, but for getting together with family. Maybe this is the only time of the year that you do it. So I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you ate as much as you possibly can handle. I hope that you all are being safe out there, obviously, during this holiday season. Times are a little crazy, so definitely you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, watching your back. People are nuts out here, to say the least. So please be safe and still have fun and enjoy yourselves during this holiday season. I want to talk about a couple things today. The first one, obviously, we know that Balenciaga, excuse me, I would say with a V for some reason. Balenciaga's been in the news for their S&M stuff with kids. I saw some of the pictures. It's awful. Obviously, there's so many questions to be asked. Number one, is Balenciaga being investigated by the government? Are they being investigated? Has there a formal investigation been started? This is what the FBI and the rest of them are here for. Never mind going after, the average everyday person. Go after this clothing house, whatever they're called, for the BS that they're pulling. At least give us an investigation. Pretend like you're doing your job. But, yeah, it's nuts. And, of course, everybody's asking about celebrities and why they aren't talking about it. We've talked about this previously on the show. Most celebrities' net worth, is tied to these companies, these, production houses, etc. Their money is directly tied to that. They're not, they might be wealthy, or rich, I should say. But if they lose these relationships, guess what happens? They lose a lot of money. So that's one of the reasons you're hearing. I'm clearly not condoning it. Clearly they should be out front. Kim Kardashian, I believe, has a relationship with them, some kind of business relationship. And it took her a week to look into what was happening with Balenciaga. She clearly knew. She just couldn't say anything because, once again, her worth is tied to these fashion houses and these companies and things along those lines. That's why you're not hearing anything. And I'm going to play a clip for you from a gentleman by the name of Jeff Schroeder, if I'm not mistaken. and it's a show called Daily Blast Live, and he basically talks about what was going on with Balenciaga. Give me 1 second.
And now we're doing.
Now, here we go.
Where's the outrage? I'm going to go off for a minute here because where is the outrage? It's been a week and a half, and now we're doing this story. I get it. Thanksgiving was happening and all that, but they tried to hide behind that, right? Maybe this will make it through the news cycle. No, it's not, okay? Adidas didn't cut ties 48 hours after Kanye did his whole thing, right? And they got lambasted for not speaking out against anti-Semitism. This is a week and a half, and nobody seems to care that there's little kids involved in this. I can't speak what it's like to be a black man, right? I can't speak what it's like to be a Jewish woman, but I can speak what it's like to be a father of two young boys. And that this type of behavior, when I worked at CBS.com out of a little closet my first show, I was like, I'm gonna say this and wear a blue shirt. I got 49 emails saying, maybe wear a purple shirt and maybe don't say this here. Don't tell me this slipped through the cracks when you're getting a court case that features child pornography. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Jeopardy's got to flip their whole production because of one person said something, but they wanted to be woke and do all that. How many other examples are there? 10, 20, 30, 40 years we're going back to cancel people? But this slips through the cracks. It's outrageous. And that people aren't outraged and skipping work with their posters and going to the courthouse or going to Balenciaga, and stars aren't wiping their Instagram and social media with all their Balenciaga gear is disgusting in itself. Don't you tell me, Hollywood, how to live my life, or you want me canceled, or because you produce something. You're gonna go around because Balenciaga pays you $1 million, $2 million, $5 million? Kim Kardashian, shame on you. You're a billionaire. You don't need this company. They need you. And for you to take a week and a half to come to a conclusion.
All right, it cuts off at the end there, but you basically get the gist of it. He's 100% correct. Absolutely. And I don't know who else has a relationship. I know Balenciaga either dropped Kanye or Kanye dropped them. I don't know the particulars of that. I don't really care, but you're understanding now. I'm happy to see that there are more and more and more people coming out here and calling the BS on the entertainment industry. People recently, Jerry Jones had a picture from like 65 years ago where there was some white guys, I remember, I think it's from Arkansas, where he was in the picture where some white guys were bullying some black children. Clearly we don't condone that. Clearly we don't like that at all. Obviously, it's very racially insensitive. It's racially wrong. It was a long time ago though, and people want to cancel Jerry Jones at 80 years old. Not saying that you can't. I don't really care one way or the other. We don't know Jerry Jones' involvement. We just know he was there. You know what I'm saying? And Stephen A. came out and, came to the defense of Jerry Jones, and people called him a coon, blah, 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 sell out, this, that, and the other thing. At some point, we have to cut the BS out and start talking about the real things. Balenciaga, I don't know if they're under investigation. They should be under investigation. People have been put under investigation for less. Where's the Epstein list? You think we forgot about that? Huh? We've still been waiting on that. You have to start putting pressure upon not only the people who are committing the crimes, but the government to do its goddamn job. There are children involved in this. Now we know, as it pertains to the Epstein list, that I've heard the Clintons, I've heard, Donald Trump, I've heard all kinds of people on there. Hopefully something like this gets us the Epstein list. What happened to those children? If you want to go look at the pictures, be my guest. It's very disturbing. But at some point, people need to be held accountable. I know Balenciaga blamed the production company, and then the production company is saying that Balenciaga was there. All parties involved should at the very least be investigated, if not arrested and thrown in jail. We know how they do we know how they do. I'm going to say it that way. We know how they do. Obviously, we'll see how these things transpire. But Hollywood, y'all really messing up. All your little dirty laundry is coming out now. Y'all gonna ruin y'all industry. People are not gonna go to the theaters. People are not gonna go to buy these clothes that y'all put out there. They're not gonna sit there and buy the products that you're marketing. Y'all better clean y'all house. That's real talk. Because it's gonna get worse. People are gonna stop buying. You're gonna get mad. You're gonna sit there. There are people, I know, as I think it was like She-Hulk or something like that. People were very critical of it, and the producer tried to come out and try to basically lambaste the fan base. Don't think for 2 seconds that those people won't turn on you, because you need them. They don't need you. All these celebrities who are quiet about it, y'all better get on your shit. People ain't playing games with y'all no more. Y'all better cut the bullshit out. I see that Kyrie Irving recently ended his relationship with Nike, or Nike ended their relationship with him, whatever. And the question was, who should Kyrie sign with next? Shouldn't sign with anybody. He should start his own brand. Say what you want to about LeVar Ball. At least LeVar Ball made the attempt to build his own brand. I'm not saying you can't go out and buy nice things. But damn it, at some point, you got to stop supporting these places that have nothing to say when a Balenciaga's out there treating children like cattle. And Lord knows what happens behind the scenes in those places. I've only heard stories. I've never seen anything personal. It's time for people to stop supporting these brands. So again, build your own brand. This is the day and age to do it. Nike, Adidas, Prada, all these companies, stop supporting them. If they're pulling a fuckery, stop supporting them. That's how you get these companies to shape up and throw people out and get people arrested. Not just by complaining about it. You do it with your dollars. The fact that Balenciaga hasn't fired anybody, at least to my knowledge, should tell you everything that you need to know. They don't have any respect. All they care about is your money. It's time for you to pull your money back. We talk about it all the time, the emotions and all that other jazz. Leave the emotions alone. This is business. And more importantly, this is them exploiting children. At some point, you need to step up and show them show them that you're what's important from a financial standpoint. They don't exist without you. How many of you out there are still going to be buying Balenciaga after this disgusting thing, huh? How many of you are going to buy things for your family members for the holiday season? I wonder. I said it before, stop with all the infighting. See what they're really doing out there. Come together, even if you disagree on something. Stop calling each other names publicly. And start taking back this world. Speaking of calling people names, by the way, special acknowledgement to Deion Sanders. He just he was the coach for Jackson State, the HBCU out in, I believe it's in Mississippi. He recently became the head coach of the University of Colorado football team. Congratulations to him. It's a great thing for him to move up in the world. But what did of course I see after this lands, what do I see yesterday all over social media? Black people calling him names. Oh, he's a sellout, he's this, he's that. Once again, I'm talking to you today, black people. I'm talking to you right now. Y'all need to stop the nonsense. For real. Y'all need to stop pretending as if Deion Sanders owed Jackson State his life as a coach. Deion Sanders out here making business moves. Okay, most of you who are complaining about him leaving Jackson State didn't even know who Jackson State existed 3 years ago. Nobody was talking about HBCUs. Maybe the only person in terms of the media, quote unquote, who would talk about HBCU, religiously was Stephen A. Smith. I know, y'all don't care for him. You don't like him. He's cool with Jerry Jones, blah, blah, blah. He's a sellout, even though he makes more money than you ever will in your lifetime. He was the only one that was talking about it. Nobody was talking about HBCUs before Deion came along. Go watch the 60 Minutes interview that he does. They barely had running water in that place. And now 3 years later, he's got them playing in the SWAC championship, undefeated. I think it's the second year in a row. I've got a little article here. I'm about to read it. There's a little article here that I saw, and I want to read it to you. Prior to Prime, if it rained, they couldn't practice. He got them 2 practice fields, new locker room, new football facility, new training facility, ushered in a 10-year TV rights deal with for all of the HBCUs, $30 million direct economic impact to the city of Jackson last year, brought awareness to issues in the city of Jackson, while directly calling out the governor and mayor. And y'all are sitting here getting mad at Deion Sanders for going to Colorado. I think they were paying him $300,000. Now, from the reports I heard, I don't particularly care for numbers being put out there, but I think it's something around $5 million. Why wouldn't Deion Sanders take that? Why wouldn't Deion Sanders move on? You see, a lot of y'all talk slick about other people, but no, good and goddamn well, y'all would do the same exact thing if you were in Deion's place. Why would Deion Sanders not take that job? Because it's a predominantly white school. Now, I personally thought he was going to wait for one of the Florida schools, University of Florida, Florida State, Miami. Obviously, he's a Florida State alumni. I thought he'd take one of those jobs. But why wouldn't he take this job? People, y'all don't think long term. Was he supposed to be there? Did he say he was going to be at Jackson State forever? No. I told you, go watch the 60 Minutes interview that he does. There's a point where they don't have running water, and he has to take a bath in the pool. That's not even counting the monies he came out of pocket for. He did his job. His job was to get notoriety to historically black colleges and universities in terms of sports. The plight that's going on, because we always hear about like Flint, Michigan. They don't even have clean water down there. We just don't hear about it. All we knew was Flint, Michigan, which I believe still doesn't have clean water. It's not his job to call out the mayor and the governor and other politicians. He got them a TV deal, which means millions of more dollars going into all of the HBCUs. That was his job. That is his legacy. And look, he might go to Colorado and fail. I don't think he will. I think he's a phenomenal coach. He's going to recruit really well. He's going to be out in the Pac-12. It's going to be a little bit easier now. I think USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken. He did his job at Jackson State. Most of you, so I have this question for you. So most of you would stay at a job where you're making less money because of quote unquote loyalty. Oh, he has to stay there. We have to build our own thing. No, we don't. Maybe he has some aspirations as a college coach. Maybe he wants to play for a national championship. You're not going to get that with the HBCUs. You're just not. And y'all, a lot of y'all have the nerve to sit there and call him names. Did you go to that HBCU and turn it around? Did you quit your job to become a football coach at an HBCU? Did you pay for those students? There were certain things that he paid for the students. Hold on, give me 1 second here. He got them out of bad business deals, shown how to conduct business and think to produce on a larger scale. Let's see, the SWAC commissioned himself on how Deion has influenced and provided for the SWAC as a whole. Let's see, there's a bunch of other things. There's a couple other things he did here. I know he paid for some students' things. Like I said, they didn't have running water. And he put them on the map. Nobody heard of Jackson State or Alabama State or any of these historically black colleges, historically black college programs until Deion came along. Used his likeness and got them money. One of the big problems with the HBCUs, and this is not just HBCUs, but a lot of private schools, is that they sit there and misappropriate and mismanage funds. How many private schools have we seen close since all the Rona stuff started? Even before that. Because they mismanage funds. A lot of HBCUs have been sitting out here mismanaging funds. I think they said I read it somewhere, the former dean, or let's see if I can find it here. The former dean or somebody stole $50 million from Jackson State. You can go and look it up. $50 million gone. What they should be doing is suing him to get that money back. Let's see if I can find it here. I'm going to find the article. Once again, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have misappropriation of funds. And nobody talks about this. Let's see if I can find the article. I can't find it right now. But you know what I'm talking about right now. You can't have this nonsense of, oh, let's call Deion names because he made good for himself. This is business. You don't think those kids see how Deion's walking right now? Because he was more than just a coach to them. He showed them how to do work. This is what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to stay in the same place forever. You're not. You're supposed to move on. You're supposed to make wise business decisions. And y'all sitting here calling him names, talking about we need to own our own thing. First off, you don't own anything. I can't find that article, but here's another one. It says Jackson State University elevates a $13 million. What is this? Jackson State University elevates a $13 million economic impact to Capital City during back-to-back football weekends. $13 million. That goes directly into these, directly to the area, one of the poorest parts of the country. And y'all sitting here calling Deion Sanders names because y'all don't understand business. It's shameful. It's disgusting. And some of y'all going to hear what I'm saying and you're going to say, oh, well, you're a coon too. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me whatever it is that you want to. I can't find this article right now. You can call me whatever it is that you want to. Call me all the names in the world. But you know what? It doesn't change the fact that y'all need to stop with the nonsense. Y'all need to stop pretending as if you're owed something in this life. Deion Sanders, forget about has every right, has a responsibility to himself and to his family to not make $300K a year. Period. Ain't the 5-year deal with Colorado. Great. He should go. He should be getting $10 million a year. That program's terrible. Actually, hold on a second. I might have found the article. Jackson State University's cash reserves is that money that's available for ongoing discretionary blah, blah, blah. Declined from $37 million to $4 million over in the past 4 years, according to a report. Presented in Thursday's Mississippi's Institution of Higher Learning Board meeting. Let's see, the university's adjusted cash flow surplus decreased from $17 million to a deficit of $25 million, almost 150%. I can't see who the person was. Let's see, this is an older article, but this is what I'm talking about. The president, Caroline Myers of Jackson State University, sent an email to students, faculty, and staff that touts the achievement under the 5-year tenure of growing information. The board requested an expense management plan in June 2000, but did not receive a feasible plan. Jackson State sent out a press release 4 hours after the meeting stating that the institution is aware of its financial issues. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This right here. Yes, they stole money. They misappropriated funds. You know how many private schools do that? And Deion came into that situation and turned things around. It was not his job to stay there forever. Now let's see what the future holds. Now the blueprint has been set. And at least Deion Sanders had the decency to tell his players up front, off the top, like, all right, look, I got this opportunity. Like I said, I've said it a couple times. Watch his 60 Minutes interview. He tells you, look, this is a business at the end of the day. I'm paraphrasing, but this is a business. And if I get an opportunity somewhere else, like I said, I thought he'd go to one of the Florida schools, but if I get an opportunity somewhere else, I'm going to go. Teaching those young men. You ain't got to be loyal to an employer. You had a vision, you executed the vision, you completed the vision, now it's time to move on. And you should go and get paid. His job was to turn Jackson State around and to get them more notoriety so that they can eventually end up in the pros, NFL. All y'all calling Deion Sanders names and all that other jazz, y'all need to get over yourselves. Deion Sanders did what he was supposed to do. He elevated that program. He made it what it is today. People will be watching it for years to come. And hell, you never know. Maybe he goes back someday. And that part of Mississippi, or maybe maybe not the entire state, but that part of Mississippi gets better economically. That's what you should be worried about, instead of calling people names all the goddamn time. And you wonder why it is you're a second-class citizen in this country. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Lex Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. Take care.
I'm going to go off for a minute here because where is the outrage? It's been a week and a half, and now we're doing this story. I get it. Thanksgiving was happening and all that, but they tried to hide behind that, right? Maybe this will make it through the news cycle. No, it's not, okay? Adidas didn't cut ties 48 hours after Kanye did his whole thing, right? And they got lambasted for not speaking out against anti-Semitism. This is a week and a half, and nobody seems to care that there's little kids involved in this. I can't speak what it's like to be a black man, right? I can't speak what it's like to be a Jewish woman, but I can speak what it's like to be a father of 2 young boys. And that this type of behavior, when I worked at CBS.com out of a little closet my first show, I was like, I'm going to say this and wear a blue shirt. I got 49 emails saying, maybe wear a purple shirt and maybe don't say this here. Don't tell me this slipped through the cracks when you're getting a court case that features child pornography. It's disgusting. It's disturbing. Jeopardy's got to flip their whole production because of one person said something, but they wanted to be woke and do all that. How many other examples are there? 10, 20, 30, 40 years we're going back to cancel people? But this slips through the cracks. It's outrageous. And that people aren't outraged and skipping work with their posters and going to the courthouse or going to Balenciaga, and stars aren't wiping their Instagram and social media with all their Balenciaga gear is disgusting in itself. Don't you tell me, Hollywood, how to live my life, or you want me canceled, or because you produce something. You're going to go around because Balenciaga pays you $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. Kim Kardashian, shame on you. You're a billionaire. You don't need this company. They need you. And for you to take a week and a half to come to a conclusion